Without Goku and Vegeta, there is no Dragon Ball Z. Goku's the superhero, the Superman, if you will. He's happy-go-lucky, the hero that every great story really needs.
My favorite Dragon Ball Z character would be Goku.
Goku, because he's the one that always wins.
I'm like all for Goku.
I think I like Goku better.
I think he's stronger than Vegeta.
Goku's just simply more talented. Vegeta has the training. He's got the money. He's the rich Harvard kid. Doesn't have to try. Goku's the punk from Texas. Goku's the Lance Armstrong to the guy who had all that. He's like, here's a kid from Texas going to go win the Tour de France 5 or 6 times.
His nickname is Savior of the Earth and the Universe.
He's always fighting for the best of everybody. You know, he's not self-centered or anything like that. You know, that's what I really like.
He has more of like a more honorable approach toward his fighting.
I think Goku believes everybody can be good, absolutely, because he can see it. He sees through all the things that make people covered or evil, clouded. And he looks through that. And that's part of what makes it dangerous for him, is because, and I tell you, I've been guilty of this in my life, where I'm just like, you know, I like you, and you like me, and you're not going to hurt me.
Goku is the first guy to give the bad guy another chance. He's the first guy to, you know, be enthusiastic during a time when really you just need to be upset about stuff.
Goku is not ever selfish. So he's never like, there was a line that made him sound really selfish. Well, I hope I don't get killed if I do this or something like that. I was like, no, he's not worried about it. He's worried about saving other people. He's not worried about saving himself.
Really, it's his personality. He has his blonde moments.
He's not really out there fighting to hurt anybody. He's just out there fighting to improve himself.
He is just enlightened, and he's so in the moment with his training and in everything, and so positive that he's unsinkable.
And then Vegeta is the one that Goku needs to balance him, the one who's dark, who's mad, everything like that. They just show the two polar aspects of humanity, especially Vegeta at the very beginning of the Saiyan saga, when he's pure evil. It's a perfect polar opposite.
Vegeta, I would say I have to like better because I'm more into the badass type.
My favorite character is Vegeta of the whole show.
I like Vegeta more.
I like Vegeta better.
Vegeta.
It's Vegeta, hands down.
Vegeta is the guy that you wish just was a little bit nicer than he was, but you can't fault him for being the way he is. Vegeta, at least the way I saw Vegeta, he was probably the single most bitter, angry man alive.
I like Vegeta because I like his attitude. He's got a little more spunk than Goku.
As far as when it comes to people, nobody gets in his way, no matter what.
But you like him because he's the guy who always tells people off for you. He's the guy who will speak up for himself when he's not getting great service at a restaurant. He may not go about it in the right way by punching them, but he'll get you better service next time.
Oh, he's got short man syndrome. Vegeta?
He's always trying to be better than Goku. He's stubborn, and he knows that he's the prince.
Goku's too whiny.
He's the guy who makes all the right decisions in Dragon Ball Z. He's the guy who says, let's just blast in the door and end this right now. You know, and everyone else is just like, no, let's wait it out. Let's give him a chance, or let's give him another chance. He's a good person, essentially.
I have a deep affinity for Goku in particular. I mean, that will always have the core place in my heart. And I think there was no better place I could have started.
I love Vegeta. And I don't know if I like Vegeta because I always was meant to like Vegeta, or playing Vegeta made me like Vegeta.
For my personality and who I am, it was just, the universe said, this is what this guy needs. I'm very blessed in that.
Whenever they spar, I mean, it gets really close. Like, people are calling in the judges.
They meet one another, and from that moment, there's this rivalry that continues throughout the series.
Do I think Vegeta's a good person? Oh, absolutely. I mean, all you got to do is, get him to relax.
He's a clown. He's an idiot. He's a freak. He's a loser.
You just got to not be so worried about this whole I'm the Prince of all Saiyans thing. I mean, come on.
He's a low-life Saiyan. He's Saiyan scum.
It's that rivalry that drives them forward, both as characters, and drives the series forward as they go into other adventures. And Vegeta can always turn to Goku and say, you can't fight him because I'm going to, or so forth like that.
Vegeta, I need your help, please! Just stay out of my way!
But at the same time, Vegeta can't exist without Goku.
Vegeta and Goku come together because there are things that Vegeta has to learn. And Goku is a compelling enough force to make him learn those things, and vice versa. That's why people come together, I think.
Goku wasn't around, Vegeta would be angry all the time, but then he wouldn't have anyone to be angry at, and he would have destroyed everything, and thus he'd been a really boring guy. Who knows what Vegeta would be like? Would Vegeta be Goku if Goku didn't exist?
Here he is, the Prince of all Saiyans, and he's got this clown, and Goku really is a clown. And that relationship parallels my relationship with Christopher Sabat in so many ways, it's not even funny.
It's safe to say, again, without the two of them and without their rivalry, the series would not have continued on, and that was all based in the original fight between Goku and Vegeta on Earth.
First battle between Goku and Vegeta was probably one of the best.
That was a big fight that everybody was telling me about before I even played the game or even knew about the whole series.
Vegeta's like, he's coming here, he's believing he's the all-powerful Saiyan, and now he meets his match in Goku.
Like, yeah, Vegeta turns into a big monkey. He gets his tail cut off. So to me, I'm like, big monkey? Huh?
The first battle between Goku and Vegeta is extremely important because it's the first fight that everyone really wanted to see.
It ain't no back alley fight, They be making canyons, breaking through buildings, you know what I'm saying? Shooting through planets. That's my kind of fight, dude.
We did rank the top 10 anime battles of all time, and while there were other Dragon Ball Z fights on there, the original fight between Goku and Vegeta was #1 in all of animedom. It's such a visceral fight that even the later Cell and Majin Buu fights don't come close to matching. They're so bloody and beaten, and Goku's just dead practically at the end of it. And it's the fight by which all other Dragon Ball Z fights are, I think, really judged.
There's two things that you want to happen, and it's what makes Dragon Ball Z fun to watch. You want them to kick each other's asses, but you also want them to make up afterwards too. You want Vegeta and Goku to get along, but at the same time, you also really want to see them fight. You want to see the rivals, the two strongest warriors in the show, duke it out. I mean, that's what the show's about.
I've seen those original cut episodes back on TV, and I was totally entranced by the fight, even with all those edits made, with the blood gone, with a lot of the violence cut out, with a great deal of the action cut out. To imagine it with all those scenes back in, the way it was originally supposed to be seen, the way it was originally seen, is just amazing.
We've learned so much throughout the process that going back and hitting these earlier episodes now, it's just a huge benefit. I mean, Funimation is a tank now, where it was just kind of an armored Toyota back then.
You're going to have a consistency of cast. That's huge. It is. I mean, I give all kinds of kudos to the original cast. They're fine actors. But having the same voice the entire series, when you're a little kid, I can't tell you how angry I was when they switched Ronald McDonald. I was livid.
There were a lot of elements, a lot of scenes in the show that I always wanted always wanted to have done. I don't know if I did them any better than the original, but I definitely did them with more insight as to where Vegeta is ultimately going to end up. I always wanted Vegeta to meet Goku. I always wanted to play that, and I always wanted to yell, Nappa! And I never got to.
It was exciting because I was going to get to explore a lot of things in the character that I had to kind of imagine leading up to. I mean, I'd seen it, but to actually do it was different. So yeah, it was extremely exciting. And we're still gonna, I think we're gonna redo the first 3 movies, and I'm really excited about that too. The Goku was my first audition ever for anything except for puppet shows, which I did Marionette Theater in Dallas.
Before DBZ, I'm just a guy reading commercial copy, or, if you know the extension of the person you'd like to reach, dial that extension number now. Or offer based on 9.95 APR, TT, non-touchdown license, of course, flat license in Maine. Nobody notices those people. And voice actors don't expect to be noticed in that way. But then DBZ happens, and it's a hit, and none of us expected it.
Popularity in America, I'd say Dragon Ball Z is really at the top.
Most of my friends watch the show.
I think when it first came out, it was kind of like just a hidden thing. Nobody really knew about it at first. When they brought out Z, that really came popular. It just blew up.
There are older people who know about it, and I have a 7-year-old niece who knows about it.
I knew it was going to be a hit, and I'm not saying that I knew it was going to be a hit because I could see the potential of the toys. I knew it was going to be a hit, or because I know a hit when I see one. It wasn't like that. I just knew it was because I just felt it. I was like, this is going to be big. I just felt it was.
And I remember I was in a store in France, and American comics were very popular in the rest of Europe and in France then, and X-Men was the most popular American comic. And I was talking to this retailer, and he said, this comic here is selling better than X-Men in my store, and it was Dragon Ball Z.
We went to San Diego Comic-Con, me and Stephanie Nadolny and Chris Sabat and Sonny Strait, and we had to share this table with ElfQuest people, Wendy Penny, who subsequently has become a really great friend of mine, and there's another story behind that, because the table they'd set up for us was not, they didn't have a proper table. They had the table for the toys, and then they didn't, and she was a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, and she let us use ElfQuest space for our autograph signing, and I realized it was a big hit when I looked at, and the line was literally 4 hours long.
When I'd go to a grocery store and the sacker who was sacking my groceries would actually recognize who I was, I knew something weird was going on.
We went to New Orleans, and they had us on this whirlwind autograph tour at these schools, and they had a lot of security there, and we had to leave early, and the kids set the school on fire because they didn't get Goku's autograph.
When all of a sudden you walk around and you're going out to eat, and the person walking in front of you has a Vegeta shirt on, or when you start seeing kids, blasting with their hands at the mall, you start realizing that the thing that you're working on has bled into the culture.
I mean, if it wasn't for that series in particular, most people wouldn't know what anime was, because Dragon Ball Z came out a long time ago.
Still insanely popular.
I think the action makes it really popular.
Fighting. It's got to be the fighting.
I think right now Dragon Ball Z is #1, just because of all the action.
Dragon Ball Z just had a special look about it. And that carried on through when I was involved in retail around 1999 and 2000. It just had such a stylish appearance that it stood out among all the other anime properties.
What made Dragon Ball Z a huge success was the fact that it just has the most incredible, epic story. The story just, once you get into it, it's just like, animated crack.
I really don't know why I like it so much.
The best thing I like about the show is the action and Goku. I mean, he's my favorite character. Like I said, he sets it off for me. I mean, when he powers up to Super Saiyan, it's on then,
They're not just normal humans walking around talking. They have abilities that nobody else has. They can fly, they can shoot energy balls, they can go forever in fighting.
Just the style of it, the beauty of it, the action. the relationship, the whole storyline, it's perfect.
Has a drama, has romance, has your goofiness, has high action fights. What more could you ask for? Really?
I've had a couple of stalkers, yeah.
I had a couple of shaky braces every now and then with someone who might meet me and go, I love Vegeta so much.
People following you to your hotel room.
There was the mother who came up and asked if I'd sign her baby's butt.
People stalking you on the internet, people putting stuff up on the web that's not true.
There's always the little one who walks up, is like, speak Vegeta!
Speak Goku! Speak him!
There was the one girl who was collecting photographs of voice actors in compromising photos. So do the sexiest thing you can do in the photo.
The young girls get they want to explore their they get very forward in a very uncomfortable way. What was the joke they said? Oh, you're Goku, you probably get all the chicks. And I go, yes, I do, and they're all too young.
There's the fan who comes up and says, so in episode 74, it was obviously wrong. I don't understand why Vegeta would say he had a power level of 120,000 when it's completely wrong. He actually had 172,000. If you would have looked at Chase's scouter, it would have been perfectly, completely comprehensible.
One that sticks out in my mind is a grown man crying when he met me. I met this guy at a convention, and he must have been in his 40s, and they go, this is the guy does, and I go, hi, nice to meet you. He goes, I love you, man. I was like, okay. But he loves, I know he's saying he loves my work, he also loves what Goku embodies.
Because I don't feel like really that important a person that people really actually need to wait in a line to talk to me. I've always really tried to give each person that comes up and waits any amount of time to talk to me like personal attention.
It's an honor for me, really, is what it is. I'm like, you drove 500 miles to see me, and you're like honored to meet me. I'm honored to meet you because you're going to come see me. It's a very humbling experience.
Any new actor on Dragon Ball Z that I would work with, or any actor, even current actors that I was working with, used to be sort of a joke that if you haven't said at least 1,000 Ha's, you haven't really voiced any character on DBZ.
Huh? I think it's just I think it's part of the anime storytelling style. That's how they connect their dots in the way they write. I don't think we write that in American cartoons as much.
There was the open mouth, huh?
Huh?
And there was the elongated, huh?
There's,
There was the closed mouth, huh?
And I remember asking Barry once, you want a speed racer, huh? Or a normal, huh? Which is a different than, huh? You know,
And there was the teeth clenched, shocked reaction that every single character had to have in a row in really cool shots. There was a,
and then they pan, and everybody's like, the camera's going by, and it's like, the camera goes,
there's so many specific grunts and groans.
It's based on the animations. So if you see the really, really fast fighting was always like, and all that stuff, you know, as fast as you can.
The shocked open mouth reaction.
I mean, if you're doing like something to the gut, it's like,
There was the open mouth scared reacts.
A punch noise is more empowering. Like, yeah, it's like, you got him. Yeah! And getting it is, especially if he gets hit in the face, you know, you're doing that sort of thing. You're going to do that.
The teeth clench scared reaction.
Or he's fighting underwater, I'll get a glass of water and bring it. I'll do all that stuff underwater.
The scripts come labeled like OM into TC reacts overcut, which means open mouth into clenched teeth reactions overcut.
I think one time Goku gets kicked in the groin. I tried to really make it sound like I got really right in the business. I was like, ah!
There were a billion reactions, and after a while, I knew exactly what reaction was coming even before it came. Like, as soon as I saw it in the script, I knew exactly what it was going to be.
Playing Goku has affected my personality in a way opposite of what you think it might. In other words, a lot of times when you play a role, you start becoming that role, and you become more and more like them. I was already, according to my producer and according to my friends, very much like the character when I start. And those things in America and in the world and as a human, some of those qualities can be very bad because people can take advantage of you and they can hurt you.
Anyone who's known me for any significant amount of time knows that my personality has changed a fair bit since playing Vegeta. I used to be a little more Goku than I was Vegeta, but I've definitely become a lot more stern.
It shined the light on where I was naive. It shined the light on where I didn't understand how people were perceiving me. It shined light on those things. So I have become more like Goku as he is at Super Saiyan 4 when he's just more, okay, I've been through the ringer, I know what's up, I'm serious and focused. And less naive and less trusting.
Friends of mine who know me can always tell when I'm finished with a Vegeta recording session, because I'm usually short with them. I'm usually frustrated. I'm usually angry. You spend 4 hours in a booth screaming at the top of your lungs, and yeah, you're going to be a little angry when it's all over and done with.
When I first got the role, the beginning of the experience was really difficult, actually.
He would call me every now and then. He's like, "Hey, Chris, yeah, is Goku going to be on the show this week? Because I don't have a whole lot of money, and I'm just curious. Is he still in the recuperation tank?" I'm like, yeah, he is, Sean. And turned out that Sean's, bank account was directly proportional to Goku's appearance and presence in the show. It's pretty funny. I think it was like that for a couple of people back in the early days.
I was going through a lot of personal things. I was right after I got the role, I started going through a divorce, and so having to go. When you have to go and sometimes really late at night and go play the happiest-go-luckiest character in the world for 7 hours straight, when your life's falling apart, is very difficult. And this isn't a woe is me story, but it's like I love Goku for that reason, because it was something that when I was going through a lot of tough times, I had that, and it was something that I could be really proud of, especially when I met kids and I could see their looks on their faces.
I've been watching for about 3 years now, and I have the whole entire series.
When I used to live in Austin, when I was about maybe 8 or 9, I saw it in Japanese. I didn't understand what they were saying, but I still watched it.
When I first seen it, I was in the Marines, and I had a friend come from Japan who had a Japanese girlfriend who recorded Dragon Ball Z for him. So when I first saw it, it was in Japanese, so I understood nothing.
They would import them to Mexico before they would come to the U.S., so I used to catch them in Spanish. It's still good in Spanish. Dragon Ball Z, para siempre.
I watched Dragon Ball Z with my brother a lot. He passed away a few years ago, but that's something that he and I would always watch. We're big fans of Dragon Ball Z from the beginning. We went on to GT, and then we went back to the original Dragon Ball series itself.
Well, I'm in the Army, deployed in Iraq right now, because I'm leave. That's how I got into Dragon Ball Z. Primarily Dragon Ball Z, a friend of my very first unit I was in got me into it. He had the whole Frieza saga on tape, and he sent me down and we watched the whole thing, and I was hooked.
We really liked it a lot, and it was a part of a bond, basically a bond. I know, it really doesn't sound all that great, but it was something that we watched a lot together, and we would always look forward to watching together, and even still now, it's a big part of our, mine and his relationship, even though he isn't here.
I don't think I could ever be tired of it. I thought there was a point where I'd be tired of it, but I think anyone who's been on the DBZ series knows that anyone involved with it, I can speak for the actors, but I would be willing to bet that anyone who's worked on the series knows that it changed everyone's lives who worked on it. And this isn't some sort of weird spiritual thing, but it's weird to look you're at the grocery store and you see a magazine that has anime on it, and you see your face in it.
Absolutely life-changing, absolutely. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
I don't even know where I'd be right now. I know I certainly wouldn't be on this camera. but there's a good chance I'd still be, reading Holy Spot or something like that. Fall men's collection, whatever.
I think Dragon Ball Z is the greatest action anime of all time. It really set the tone for all other anime action. It's the one that was the most popular in Japan and the most popular in America here. And the whole core of the action, the fight that raised the bar for the action in the entire 200 plus episodes was the Goku versus Vegeta fight. And then later on, when Vegeta turns into Majin Vegeta in the Majin Buu saga, the early stages, that's for me probably the most emotionally satisfying moment because Vegeta and Goku have had this history together. None of it would have been possible without that original fight. Not the popularity of the series, not the incredible action, not that emotional resoundance that I think has made Dragon Ball Z so popular throughout the world.